Welcome LEGO fans to the Soul Brick Show. This is where you'll learn everything you actually need to know about building LEGO cities. Everyone else on YouTube is lying to you. They have no idea what they're doing. But I am the embodiment of honesty, I swear. Anyway, what I'm doing here is building a vintage LEGO city with a twist. I'm also creating environments for it. Like and subscribe. This is honestly one of the most fun projects I've ever worked on, in my humble opinion, and I stand by that. I love vintage LEGO, but I also enjoy building mocks, so this is a great compromise, or combination of two great things, if you prefer that phrasing. In today's video, we're continuing to expand westward. I've got these 3 empty green base plates, and honestly, this space needs to stop being lazy and start contributing to the economy. We can't have it like this. The economy needs to improve. Profits needs to go up every year. Man, we're all gonna get so rich. First up, we got set 6067 guarded in from 1986. I love this set. It's got swag. I've been critical before about how the Lego castle theme didn't have many civilian buildings, but this one actually is one. Now, technically, this is a whorehouse, but let's pretend it's just a charming rustic restaurant where you can go get blackout drunk on overpriced fake mead. Come taste my meat rolls! I'm gonna cheat a bit with this section since most of the area won't be visible when you're just looking at the city with your eyeballs. This is something I picked up from watching way too many behind the scenes videos from Wes Anderson movies. They only build what's in frame to save money, which is great for us A-folds too, since Lego costs more than your mom. That said, we've got a simple extension of the wall, built in the same style as the original. If you look at a lot of these castle sets from that era, you'll notice there are spots that look like they're meant to connect. But I've never really figured out which sets are supposed to go with which. Which reminds me of set 75270, Obi-Wan's hut from 2020, that just abruptly ends at the kitchen. But there's a connection point. Was the plan to release another part of this hut to attach there, and then they just forgot about it because Lego has to push out a billion other new sets every year as the market becomes more and more segmented? Can't one of those LAN people have a serious talk with Lego about releasing the second half of Obi-Wan's hut? Think about all the sand that's getting in. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Anyway, in this backyard, which won't be visible, we got more beautification in the form of the tree from set 76960, Brachiosaurus Discovery from 2023. It kind of looks like ass, but since most of it won't be seen, it works here in the back. A big plus is that the tree's in the darker color range, which is optically useful since darker objects seems farther away. Up front, we got this more colorful tree. Trees did in fact exist during the Middle Ages, even though many people today don't believe it because they were homeschooled. Now let's look at a set from my childhood, set 6030, catapult from 1984. It's a catapult. Let's pop this into the city next to the castle. I think it looks good, not gonna lie, as the other YouTubers would. But it feels like something's missing. What we need is a fire helicopter. And as luck would have it, I got set 60318 fire helicopter from 2022. Probably one of the worst fire helicopters Lego ever made. It's truly ugly. The rotor blades are way too short. I think I bought it at a deep discount. Fuck, I think I just threw up in my mouth a little just looking at it. In front of the whorehouse, we've got this area where the road becomes a natural dividing line between the medieval zone and the more modern city area. On the grass, we've got a few cosplayers looking forward to a full life of virginity. Here's a small tree with a chimpanzee in it, because that's totally normal. A few cool knights who's been out drinking mead. When I was a biological kid, I read a lot of comics, and on the back pages they often had Lego ads. Here's one example. A set I really wanted but never got back then was set 6040 Blacksmith shop, also from 1984, and also a civilian set. I finally got it a few years ago, and I've never been happier in my so-called life ever. I like how the blacksmith is dressed so sexy, with his apron over his bare chest. The red forge is gorgeous and adds a much needed pop of color in the otherwise grey castle theme. You know, the kind of grey that says, I survived Thatcher and I'm here to mope about it. Next to it we got set 6034 Black Monarch's Ghost from 1990. Now, I always thought this was some sort of a wardrobe, but I'm just now realizing it might have been meant as a part of a black castle. I never owned one, so they're not top of mind. But when I get super rich from all of the YouTube ad revenue in about 1,000 years, I'll buy one. In my layout though, this set is a wardrobe for old ghosts. Let's place this section in front of the whorehouse. I mean in. Sometimes it feels like my channel isn't super family friendly, but that probably depends on what kind of family you have. Don't most people have kind of messed up families anyway? We'll add 2 knights on their majestic horses here on the road. Yeah, nice. Since there's been so much talk about connections in this video, what better than to add another road plate to connect it all to the rest of the city? Now we're gonna get a bit more modern. Today's kids are obsessed with their phones. So here we got set 6522 Highway Patrol from 1987. This cop is getting ready to play Snake. Yeah, that's not gonna work. The motorcycles from this era are probably the best Lego ever made. I think they're perfectly scaled, unlike newer models that often feel way too big, like your dad. Then we got the phone from set 6422, telephone repair from 1998. That set always makes me think of Brickstar, who I believe works in telecom repair or something. Another type of communication is mail, and here we've got another 1998 set, 6420 mail carrier. A simple set, but really lovely. The palm tree here will serve as a transition to the next section of the city, so like and subscribe. For this empty space we got set 6683 hamburger stand from 1983. Hamburgers are the ultimate food, aren't they? Bread, meat, lettuce, sauce. What more can you ask from life? Aside from set 6040 Blacksmith shop from 1984, of course. That said, you could easily swap the hamburger stand for 675 snack bar from 1979. And here we got Admiral Akbar at the snack bar. We can swap out this worker for a lesbian. We're not quite done with the Middle Ages yet. On the road we'll place set 6042 Dungeon Hunters, also known as Prison Wagon, which makes more sense. It's from 1990. They've captured one of those lousy snapphanar. Ugh! Disgusting terrorists who don't want governments to bomb other countries' children. Blah. I really like how the bare doors can open and close. That's a play feature. Here's set 6022 horse cart from 1984. This cart is extremely poorly balanced and tips backward easily. That's a play feature. And then we got set 6016 Knight's Arsenal from 1987. This set is from my childhood, and I still can't figure out what those hoses are supposed to represent. To me, they've always looked a bit too sci-fi to really fit in here. But I won't lie to you, the hoses do make the cart stand out from the crowd. Okay, let's zoom out a bit and see how it all looks now that everything's in place. I think it looks pretty good. With that said, stay away from the nonsense, stay awesome, and please check out another one of my videos.